My brothers and sisters, my fellow Bulls fans, what is going on? Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link in the box below. So I'm going to come on here for a little bit, talk about Chicago Bulls basketball, as these first three games for the Bulls have not been kind to them. And I'm a new Bulls fan. For those fans that don't know, I am a new Bulls fan. I'm in the transition of just getting back into the NBA and just refamiliarizing myself with everything. But I'm not gonna rip into the Bulls because I haven't gotten to that point yet. At least I hope. I hope I don't get to that point. But these first three games, as a Bulls fan, have been rough to watch. I mean, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whenever. I think it was Wednesday now that I think about it. But our first game to open up against Oklahoma City, I mean, it kind of, it's one of them games to where, like, you don't want one game to set the whole tone of your season, but Wednesday night kind of was a little bit of a tone setter because the Bulls were competitive for a lot of that game, and they even had a 7-0 run in the second, to start the second half, and it looked like, they're going to punch this team in the mouth, and this is going to be the team, like, they're going to play like I know that this is the team they can be. They had a very competitive first half, but then the Thunder just hit a barrage of, like, threes, and they ran away with it in the second half. I mean, the defense was okay, but just not being able to turn that defense into offense with all the mismatches that were going on with the court, you can't allow that to happen. You know, I mean, sure, Andre Drummond was playing strong, but this is where, like, I'm finally starting to see why Bulls fans are tough on Billy Donovan, because all these rotations, it's not that he does them, but he does it at the wrong moment. Like, Vooch, I feel like, has been very misutilized. Williams setting up all these screens and then creating offense, but, like, they can't efficiently knock him down consistently. And when you have your number three guy out there only playing for pretty much a quarter of the game, like I said, it's just terrible mismatches and it's a bad coaching job. And Billy Donovan was just out coached in every single facet on Wednesday night. And, Vooch and Billy Donovan even got into a little bit of a confrontation on the court, well, on the sidelines, I should say, which, can be good sometimes, but it depends on what you do with it in the grand scheme of things. Like, I know the Miami Heat have done it a couple of times, but, like, my thing is, what is the result of that going to be? Is it going to cause chaos? Is it going to cause, team drama? Is it going to be the players going after each other? Or is it going to be like a get your head on straight sort of thing that a player and a coach can go through? So that's what I mean when I say, what is the result that you're going to get out of something like that? And it seemed like that would be the case entering Friday night, because against the Toronto Raptors, where the Bulls, it was a wild game Friday night, and that was my first win as a Bulls fan. I will come on camera and say that. Very up and down game. It was a very entertaining game for an NBA fan, but if you're a Chicago Bulls fan or a Toronto Raptors fan, then it was very stressful, to say the least. The Bulls were down 16-4 in the first quarter. Then they had that 20-0 run and eventually found themselves ahead 42-23. But then that was the result of Toronto just keep turning the ball over, and then the Raptors finally got under control, and the Raptors went on a run of their own to have a lead in the third quarter. And it's like the Bulls, they're going to have to battle back and come back to win this game on their own, like the team that I know that they can be. And you give credit to where it's due. I mean, DeMar DeRozan turned in a really good game Friday night. He had 33 points on the night. The second chance points I thought were real big. But it was just the turnovers and the fouls, where it's like every single time the Bulls fouled Toronto, which, a lot of them fouls were a couple of gift calls for Toronto, but it's like the Bulls easily could have lost Friday night, and this team could very easily be sitting at 0-3. But that sequence in the final seconds of overtime, stripped by Caruso. Levine then had the ball going in transition, found Caruso in the left corner, drained a three to win the game in overtime for Chicago. So a thriller. But it shouldn't have even have to come down to that if this team could have just stopped fouling. They couldn't stop turning the ball over. They could hit the free throws. But, you take wins however you can. So back-to-back nights of playing, I get, is never tough. But tonight, I'm sitting here recording this on Saturday night. Zach LaVine has a phenomenal game. 51 points for Zach LaVine. And we lose to Detroit 118-102. Pretty much no one else scored. DeMar DeRozan had another 20-point night, sure, but that was about it. Pretty much no one else had anything worth noting. There was no movement with the basketball, no shooting shots, no aggression there. The defense absolutely just was pounded all night. And this was a Detroit team that the Bulls had beaten 15 straight times entering Saturday night. And that's why I say these first three games were very unfortunate, were very bad for the Chicago Bulls despite winning one of them. And a game like this where Zach LaVine, look, I like Zach LaVine. I think people are way too hard on him personally. He was the only one that went out there and did anything tonight against Detroit. But a game like this where Billy Donovan's system is showing that no one's being aggressive and no one has any fluidity and no one's moving with the basketball and the defense is just looking very stagnant and very stale out there on the court. This is a fireable offense right here. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go full into Billy Donovan because it's only been my first 3 games as a Bulls fan, but I'm starting to see why Bulls fans are tough on him. He takes players out way too early. He doesn't give players enough playing time. He doesn't use his bench a whole lot. And it just comes off as a sloppy and soft sort of kind of play. And look, I mean, I know it's only been 3 games in the season. There's still 79 games to go. But, I just want better results from this team. I think everyone does, and I think it goes without saying. Because I know this team can be good. You look at this Bulls roster, you look at the starting lineups they put out there every night, you think to yourself, this can be a pretty solid team. This can be a good team. 37 wins projected for the season, that's too low for this team. But now it's probably looking like 37 wins is probably too much for them. But it is what it is, man. I mean, this defense just has to figure it out. They have to do something quick because when one of your guys scores half your team's total points, it just shows that it's just very soft and it's a reflection of coaching. And maybe Billy Donovan should be getting in the faces of other players and he should be, getting into some confrontations with players or vice versa. Because, like I said, the verdict is out. Billy Donovan is not the coach of this team going forward. And I want to believe that this Bulls team can turn around. But if every 3 games are going to be like this, where they win in spite of coaching and they win by just having big run after big run and only one guy on the court doing most of the work, it's not a formula for success. And that video I put out about a month and a half ago, whenever I put it out, saying that, is this the last chance for the Chicago Bulls with this core? Well, if it is, it's not off to a good start. But, of course, I'll be sitting down here and hoping that the Bulls figure it out. But these have not been a good 3 games so far. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is Mac checking on out for the day. See you red, everybody. Have a good one.